Oh, heroes! You guys are the last standing warriors!
In June 2015, tensions were high on Mauna Kea. Construction on the $1.4 billion 30-meter telescope near the summit of the mountain was on hold, as opponents of the observatory maintained a blockade of the only road up and down the mountain. There had already been one round of arrests. Now, contractors were planning on trying to reach the job site again to resume construction. In response, this group, calling themselves the Protectors of the Mountain, began the building of ahu, or stone altars, in preparation for the standoff to come. Billy Freitas, versed in Hawaiian cultural practice, led the way. We spoke to him 1 year later.
I have a lot of experience in stones, and I was just asked to kokua with everyone, and it was an effort by everyone. It wasn't just mine. It's just a bit of experience that I could share with the younger generation. The poaku came from Kanaloa. That's about all I would say, which Kanaloa represents the ocean. It was an effort that was had to be expedited as quick as possible, because our true feeling was that that land was going to be, even till today, is under threat.
So if it's you guys, okay, let's start. You understand what you guys are doing. We have no problem with that.
Freitas had come to the mountain in March 2015 when the standoff first began. He said the passion of the younger generation inspired him to take a stand alongside of them.
It's the thought of the day. Yeah, Uncle.
Kapualoha.
The 30-meter telescope will be one of the most powerful telescopes in the history of the world, enabling astronomers to peer back in time to the very edge of the observable universe. The University of California and Caltech are behind the project, as well as international partners in Canada, Japan, China, and India. The observatory has the full support of the University of Hawaii, which oversees the 525-acre astronomy precinct on the summit of Mauna Kea, part of a larger 11,000-acre science reserve that UH has leased from the Department of Land and Natural Resources since 1968. June 24, 2015 was the most chaotic day on the mountain that year. There were numerous arrests as state law enforcement tried to clear a path for returning construction crews. One of those arrested, for the second time, Kaho'okahi Kanuha, a spokesperson in the movement. Emotions ran high. The ascent was eventually called off once rocks were used to block the road. We interviewed Kanuha following the arrest.
One guy got taken out, then another guy, and that was too much, so I said, it's time to take a stand.
He talked about the ahu built in the days before.
In a lot of their narrative, they talk about, the ancient Hawaiians used to, traditionally Hawaiians would, and they kind of pretend and make believe that it's not still going on, that Hawaiians, don't still exist, that the culture is not still living. And so it's a symbol that our culture is not one of the past. Our culture is one of the past that continues into the present and will continue into the future. And it's an evolving culture. It's a living culture, and we're a living people. And the mountain is a living mountain, and we need to treat it as such.
In December, the Hawaii Supreme Court halted construction and vacated the permit for the project, saying the State Land Board violated the due process of the petitioners in the contested case hearing held in 2011. Now, the construction crews are gone, but 2 ahu remain. TMT supporters see them as obstacles to the observatory becoming a reality. They also run contrary to the policies of the Office of Mauna Kea Management.
Spending 7 years working on this TMT project.
Cultural Officer Wally Ishibashi shared this presentation in 2015.
So we have over 300 modern rock arrangements. And under state regulation, it forbids physical alterations within the conservation district without a permit. Under our policy, we have 30 days without a permit, we take them down. We try to take it down so that it doesn't confuse and keep adding more and more and more to the landscape. Legal protection, if any burials are found, EVs, work in that area must stop immediately until a decision is made regarding the disposition of that find. What is unique to Hawaii is that it's illegal to photograph human skeletal remains in Hawaii. Offerings, there are a lot of offerings left up there by different groups. But after 10 days, we remove offerings. If not, it's going to look like a rubbish pile. So we try and maintain. Hokupu and Leles, this is a picture of our summit, Lele. So we try and follow the state on Hawaii-Pana, respecting Hawaiian sacred sites. The whole mountain is sacred. The whole mountain is cultural site in itself. In alone in itself is a sacred site, the whole mountain. But it's identified by each, and again, come back to the family. Each individual ahu or site up there was from a specific person, family, and it's their kuleana to protect. So I cannot see what is sacred to you may not be sacred to me. It's your individual, and that's the way it was. The whole mountain is sacred. This whole island is sacred. We live on the slopes of Mauna Kea. How can that be any less sacred than up there? Plantation was the most disrespectful to our cultural sites, was through the plantations. The damages they did when I was working in a plantation in the 70s, we still was bringing up EVs in the mills. Still bringing in stones from the fields. That's the disrespect when it happened back sugar days, and it's the whole island is sacred to me.
In September 2015, a third ahu built on the Mauna Kea access road was destroyed by a Mauna Kea Support Services employee.
The ahu that was constructed here by Kanaka Maoli back in June, that have already had countless ceremonies performed and offerings, has been removed. We've been informed by the rangers that Office of Mauna Kea Management is in charge of this type of activity.
The action prompted a response from the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. At least one member of Kahuku Mauna, the volunteer council that advises the Mauna Kea Management Board, was troubled by the event.
Now we see through social media a letter from CEO Dr. Crabb from OHA asking the office for clarity on this. And where and when is Kahuku Mauna going to be part of these discussions? Responsible stewardship is the whole Mauna. That ahu was on the access road, which I understand in the cultural resource management plan that there's 400 yards on both sides of the road that is under UH management. So to say that MKSS or to DLNR that they did, I did, please can someone take some responsibility? In the management plan that's been in effect since 2009. It's very frustrating being a cultural component without having the opportunity or the decency or respect to sit at a conversation. Now at the same time, the office, the chancellor can go out into the community and say Kahuku Mauna has approved CR7. Kahuku Mauna has done this, that, or the other. It may have been in a discussion. We're not an entity to approve or disapprove anything. We provide recommendation. And such we have been with the consistent follow-through of what we advise.
Kahuku Mauna began vetting new rules regarding ahu on the mountain. They got an earful during one consultation in Keaukaha.
So this is not good. And to me, it's a clear understanding. It's a clear lack of understanding of what our culture is.
Schools have been sucked into looking at how to make money. And so that science has been a draw of getting money.
So when I see these rules over here, I see them in a different framework. I see the university continuing to deny people basic civil rights.
Recently, one of the two remaining ahu on the summit made headlines again when it was revealed that human remains were placed there in September 2015 by Palikapu Deadman. We spoke to Deadman a few days after the story was reported in newspapers.
And especially as a Hawaiian, I believe that I should be grandfathered in on my rights to practice traditions. The state should uphold Article 12, Section 7, shall protect my traditional practices. That's what that was. I don't think I needed any permit or any permission.
I know Polikapo, and he's passionate and everything like that. That's all good and fine. But you know, he's speaking for me. And he doesn't have the right to speak for me.
The news divided the community. An online petition is now asking the state of Hawaii to, quote, remove the illegally placed EV from the TMT site, end quote. The petition, started by Nikki Thomas, is nearing its goal of 200 signatures. The Mauna Kea Management Board will meet Tuesday, October 4th, at their offices on Astronomy Row in Hilo. There are numerous action items on the agenda, like the adoption of guidelines and management policies for sensitive topics like scattering of human remains, offerings, constructing ahu, or other Hawaiian cultural features.
As well as the red balloon that's floating.
On September 26th, as part of the second contested case hearing now underway, a site visit was made to the summit of Mauna Kea.
And then down to the batch plant. And on the way
a chance for hearing officer Ricky Mayamano and others to see the remaining ahu in relation to the project.
We're going to take note of some ho'okupu offerings, and this is a site where some people claim that an ahu was bulldozed.
But participants had to catch a glimpse while passing by without stopping.
It was so quick that it was like we blink our eye and that was it. And riding in a van and turning your head as you're passing by something that is significant to that area of the site proposed for the structure.
Afterwards, Billy Freitas, who was present for the site visit, expressed disappointment.
I was hoping that I could at least stop at the ahus that were built by the Kukia Imauna people and do at least some ceremony in our traditional practice, which I usually do. I try to make it up here every month from the time it was built, and so I've been periodically checking up on the ahus that have been built on the roadway to the site and the one that is particularly in the site. It means a lot to our people, not just to me, but there's as I come and visit the ahus at these times that I come, there's been I notice a lot of people, not a lot of people, but people have been coming because I see fresh leis, gifts, and so I know that their reason for being in prayer for the sacredness of Mauna Kea is being practiced in our traditional customary ways.